Exploring Psychology's Core Concepts. I'm Dr. Chen, your lecturer for the course. But more importantly, I will be your guide into psychology. This is a series of lectures that will help you understand the human nature, your own behavior, and to understand the behaviors of others. The textbook we use is called Psychology Core Concepts, 7th edition. The authors are Philip Zimbardo and others, and this book has been translated mostly by myself and my colleagues. Altogether, these two books, in English and in Chinese, will guide you through this course as the main references for these lectures. Dr. Philip Zimbardo has kindly given his own introduction to this series of lectures, and his greetings are the following.
This is Philip Zimbardo from San Francisco, California, USA. I'm sending my greetings to all of you who are taking what is going to be an exciting MOOC course taught by Jing Chen of Tsinghua University. Professor Chen is an expert in many areas of psychology, and she will be leading you on a journey exploring psychology's core concepts. And the reason I'm involved is she has chosen to organize her MOOC around my textbook, Psychology's Core Concepts, which I wrote with my colleagues. This is the 7th edition. I've been writing it for 20 years, and each edition we try to not only make better, but make it up to date, to have the most exciting new ideas in psychology that will stimulate you and give you a better view of your human nature and people around you. So I hope you will enjoy the course. There's so much to learn. There's a lot, you're going to have to put in a lot of time and effort, but it will be worth it. Psychology is fascinating. Psychology will change the way you think about the world, about yourself, and your relationship to other people. I hope to join you at the end of the course and tell you some good news about what's going to happen when you finish the course, what is the vision of psychology that awaits you. So enjoy, be stimulated, but you're going to have to work hard, and Professor Chen will help you do that in a pleasant, enjoyable way.
William Shakespeare says, "Life's a stage, and we are mere actors." In this course, I hope I will be your guide to go behind the scenes of the stage, and then we'll together explore the nature of human mind and understand your own actions and the actions of others. What is psychology? Psychology is a scientific study of mind and behavior. The word has a Greek origin. It comes from the Greek word psycho and logo. Psycho means the soul or the mind, and logo means the study of. So altogether, we have the study of the mind. Mind is a rather innate process. Its mental processes are hard to infer, but usually psychologists tend to study what is called behavior. What is behavior? Behavior is any action that can be observed and measured by other people. And behavior has many, many levels. On the first level, the most common level, behavior is choices and responses. So we all have fill-in questionnaires asking us about our attitudes, opinions, and facts. So you would tick boxes about yes, no, maybe, or even your likelihood of committing an action. So these are ways of measuring behavior and measuring your responses, inferring your attitude and opinions. A different type of behavior sometimes measures the time it takes to make a response. These are called the behavior of response times. In a classic example, Anne Treisman have designed a series of contexts to measure how quickly a person spots a red letter T. In the first context, the letter T is easily spotted. However, in the other context, when the letter T is surrounded by a series of distractors, it takes much longer for a person to respond. So the systematic differences
in the response time, when a person is asked to spot T in two different contexts, are recorded as a type of response. And these responses are analyzed and later put into theoretical studies. Another level of behavior is much harder to observe. For example, a microexpression is a brief involuntary facial expression when an instant emotion has been experienced. It is very difficult to detect microexpression because it lasts only 1/15th of a second. It is even harder to spot a microexpression because it is often concealed by other emotions. You probably are very familiar with a TV series called Lie to Me. The main character, Dr. Lightman, is an expert in reading microexpressions, and he uses the skill to find criminals. In actual life, Dr. Lightman is based upon an actual psychologist. His name is Paul Ekman. Paul Ekman has found that across all cultures, people share the basic emotions, and every basic emotion has a series of facial muscles that shows this expression. For example, if a person is feeling very sad, even though he tries to pull out a happy face, his microexpression of sadness can still be spotted. So along with choices and responses, microexpression is another type of behavior. A third type of behavior is physical movement. This is the measurement of the way we talk, the way we move. Commonly, sports psychologists are interested in the way we coordinate our bodily movement. And there are motion labs that specifically measure our movement. Apart from the investigation of motion labs, there is another type of movement that's frequently studied. That is the movement of our eyes. When we read or when we scan a picture in front of us, our eyes are only focusing on very limited information. These analyses give useful insights into how we use information in front of us and also how individuals differ from one another in scanning the same picture. So eye movement responses are measured through equipment, and there are other types of behavior that only can be measured through intricate equipment. Let me give you a series of examples. The first example is the measurement of our neurons firing. As we are all aware that our actions are a result of our brain. So how do we record brain's behavior? Our brain consists of many neurons. And when the brain is at work, neurons actually fire to communicate with one another. We tend to use an equipment called functional MRI to record the workings of our brain. Specifically, what fMRI machines are measuring is the amount of blood that is flowing into different brain regions. When part of your brain is actively working, then it needs a lot of oxygen, and blood flows into that area. fMRI is an equipment that actually record how much blood is flowing into one brain area compared with other brain areas. Similarly, we have other type of equipment that measures brain activity. One of them is called EEG. It stands for electronic encephalography. It is the measurement of electrical activity that is occurring on the surface of our brain when neurons communicate with each other. Apart from fMRI and EEG, which are commonly used in brain research in psychology, another type of equipment that's come into use is called TMS. TMS stands for transcranial magnetic stimulation. By applying this technique, psychologists can make causal inferences about the relationship between behavior and the brain. By studying a brain before and after applying TMS, when applying TMS, a certain part of the brain region is cut off its connection with the rest of the brain. And this cutoff period lasts about half an hour. After this half an hour, all the brain activity comes back to normal. So by studying the differences before and after applying TMS, a psychologist can make causal inferences about certain behavior and certain brain region. So I've talked about 3 types of behavior that's related to brain activity: fMRI, EEG, and TMS. These are respectively brain imaging technique, brain listening technique, and brain intervention technique. There's another type of behavior that is also relevant to our mental state, and that is the measurement of perspiration, how much we sweat. Usually, when we experience an emotional arousal, we will slightly sweat. By putting on these devices on one's fingertips, we can accurately measure how much a person is sweating. And we use that to infer this person's emotional ups and downs. Such devices are called biopacks, and they record not only the amount of perspiration, but also the blood level changes. By putting these behavioral data together, we can infer a person's emotional changes. And sometimes these devices as biopack are very similar to what is commonly known as lie detectors. So talking about behavior, we have included many types of behavior, from responses to choices, to physical movement, to microexpression, brain data, and all the way through to the way we sweat. So these are very different types of behavior, and these are all in the realm of the study of psychology.